And we are live on this 31st day of October, known around the country, maybe the world, as Halloween. But here we are, October 31st, week 27 of the virtual Assistant Principal Leadership Academy. There may be a slight pause as I just adjusted the connection. So if so, don't worry about it. We're still here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. There may be a slight pause. I just made an adjustment. We'll be all right, though. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Week number 27. I don't know where the time went. Week 27. Virtual Assistant Principal Leadership Academy. Those of you who are checking in new, first timers, I log on at 10:55 Eastern, but we actually get started at 11 o'clock. This is sort of my 5 minutes to make sure that all the technology is working, since I'm on 4 different platforms. So I just check them during this time. So don't expect any content just yet. We're just making sure we're working. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me know where you're coming from. I see so many familiar names here, and that's an honor. Let me know where you're coming from. Some of you, I know where you're coming from because I've seen you so many times. But where are you this morning? Where you at? Right? Let me know as I'm checking the technology. And another thing, as I always ask you guys, let me know if you've been rocking with me since the beginning, back on May 2nd. We've been going 27 weeks strong. I've never done anything like this in my life. 27 consecutive Saturday mornings. That's a lot of time, y'all. And we're going all the way to 55, God willing. Right? 55 consecutive weeks. I'm just checking the technology. I'm making sure that we on here. Everything is looking good so far. I got 2 more to go, and then we're going to get started here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Tell a friend, tell a family member. We're talking planning, organization, and time management. Certainly, this is not a topic that's confined to an assistant principal. It's for anybody in education and anybody beyond education. We're just talking about how you plan your life. We're talking about how you organize your life. We're talking about how you utilize time so that you can structure your life. So that's what we're going to do for 4 weeks, right? This is a 4-part series. I couldn't fit this into one. Too much to talk about when we talk about planning and organization. So once again, I'm checking this technology. I got to make sure that we up and running on all platforms. So bear with me. We've got about 2 minutes, and then we're going to jump right into it. Yeah, there we are. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. You guys hear me well. I need to shut this down, and I need to start over because I did something this going to throw a lot of people off. So I'm going to shut it down, and I'm coming right now. Matter of fact, I'm not going to shut it down. That's going to create more confusion. I'll just have to deal with it. So we're here. We're here. We got about a minute to go. Let me know where you are, where you're coming from. Where you're coming from, where you're checking in from. Have you been with us for 27 weeks? Good to see you all. Hit that share button too. Let them know. Somebody doesn't even know this is going on. They all unorganized, don't know how to organize their time, don't know how to plan for their time. They don't know how to manage their time. Well, that's what we're doing here. We're going to spend 4 weeks on it. So let some folks know we're here. We're in the building. We're in the house, and it's good to see you all. And we're going to get it started. I'm just waiting for this clock to say 11 o'clock. And here we are. It's saying 11. So let me say formally to each of you, good morning. I'm glad to see you. Welcome to the 27th edition of the Virtual Assistant Principal Leadership Academy, hosted by yours truly, Principal Kafele. And let me tell you something, as I always say, I don't know about you, But if I could speak for me, I'm on fire this morning. Oh, yeah. I'm blazing. I'm burning. I'm on fire. And let me tell you why. These are some tough times, y'all. I have vowed to myself I'm gonna stay non-political with these broadcasts, and I'm gonna continue to do so. But let me tell you something. These are some tough times. I was just saying to somebody on social media, I said, when it's all over, I probably need to go get a mental health check. Right. So these are some difficult times. There's some very challenging times, whether it be a global pandemic and a second wave, whether it be an election and everything that accompanies this election, which I just don't want to deal with on this broadcast. Right. So and just the challenges of the world, the challenges are vast. And, it's easy to become overwhelmed by that. But I am not going to allow myself to become overwhelmed by it. I'm not going to allow it to consume me. So I've got to keep that fire. And I'm saying to you, you've got to keep that fire and you've got to keep it blazing because you chose to be a leader. Some of you were called to be a leader. Maybe all of you were called to be a leader. But however you got there, or if you're on a trajectory toward becoming, you got to be on fire. You can't come in there, somebody pour water on you and your fire is extinguished. That's not going to work. You got to bring that energy. You got to bring that enthusiasm. You've got to bring that excitement to what you do. So, I got a word of the day. I always start off with that word of the day. And that word of the day is vision. Once again, vision. And I'm saying to you, leader, very quickly, because I got a lot on this agenda. You got to see your leadership success before you take the first step. So let's say, for example, on a daily basis, each day, each morning, you got to see yourself winning. You've got to see yourself victorious. You've got to see yourself in the winner's circle, celebrating your victory, your accomplishment. You got to see that in your mind's eye. You got to see it. You got to have vision. You don't just go to the building, go to the school, or on your computer in a virtual space and just start leading without seeing the intended outcomes. See, you got to see those. You got to see the objectives playing themselves out. You got to see the goals playing themselves out. You've got to see the victory. Those of you who are aspiring leaders, right? You're not even in administrative leadership. You got to see yourself in the principal seat, in the assistant principal seat. You got to be able to see it before you start. But let's say those of you who are assistant principals, which I would think are the bulk of you, you got to see yourself as the principal. You got to see, vision is everything. So you got to see yourself in that space. You don't just get to that space, right? You're not just solely working to get there, but you see yourself in it. When I was a teacher, I saw myself as the principal of that building I was teaching in. When I was a speaker on the come up, I saw myself on the big stages, although my stage was just a cafeteria at a PTA meeting with maybe 3 parents on a good night. But I saw myself on the big stage with thousands of people in the audience because I had vision of where I was going. So you got to have vision for where you're going. You got to see yourself already acting it out, doing it successfully at a high level. That's what vision is. You see it. And see, once you get it locked in, hear me, somebody. As far as I'm concerned, it's accomplished. See, y'all didn't hear that. I'm going to get that to you again. Once you have that vision locked in earnest, that you believe this. And see, that goes back to the word I used last week. You got to believe in your vision. See, you can't just have the vision, but you don't believe in the vision. You got to believe in your vision. And then you walk in your vision. And I'm telling you, once that vision is locked in here, like here, it's yours. You could lay claim to it, embrace it, own it. And now you just do what you got to do to make your vision become your reality. See, your vision to become your reality. Shame on you if the obstacles in your path force you to quit. Shame on you if the obstacles in your path force you to give up, to throw in the towel, to feel defeated. Or folks keep saying no. Like I get a lot of calls from people. And let me say this, I'm getting ready to jump into this topic, but let me say this to you. A lot of people reach out to me throughout the week and they're throwing different scenarios at me, like they're throwing their real life circumstances. I mean, so many that I can't even answer half of them. I mean, I can't even respond to it. It's that many. I'm flooded. So every now and then I go to one that's on it. It's usually inbox on Facebook. And it's people who have been interviewing and still not getting the job. Quite frankly, I can't fix that, right? I mean, I can give you advice, but but first and foremost, I'm gonna steer you to my interview videos, and I'm gonna tell you to look at them again and again and again, right? But here's the thing: many people that reach out to me, they're at their wits' end. They're ready to quit. They're ready to give up. Like I can't do it. Right? They won't hire me, whatever the case may be. I'm saying to you as I wrap up this word vision, you can't quit because somebody said no. You can't give up because somebody said no. They said no to me. They said no to him. They said no to her. They said no to him and no to her. I mean, we've all received that, and we've all received it multiple times. I've had no many times. But I'm not giving up on my dream. I'm not quitting on my dream. I'm not quitting on my vision. If my vision says I'm meant to be in spot A, B, or C, I'm going to be there. If it takes longer than the next person, so be it. It'll just have to take longer. If it takes one person 1 year and it takes me 10 years, so be it. Because quite frankly, I wanted to be at this level of a speaker decades ago. It took me 2 decades to get to this point. I just wasn't willing to give up on my vision. Right? So that word vision, take it somebody, claim it somebody, embrace it somebody, own it somebody, and I promise you, you will walk in it at some point soon. Enough said. Let's jump into it, y'all. We on chapter 8 in the Assistant Principal 50, right? We're in chapter 8. Now, why am I putting this book on the screen? Because if you don't have it, I'm saying you need to get it, right? If you don't have this book in your possession, the Assistant Principal 50, and the book that accompanies it, the Aspiring Principal 50, I ask you facetiously, but I'm being serious. What are you waiting for, right? I got what you need in the 2 books. So if you're Assistant Principal, I want you to get the Assistant Principal 50. If you're Aspiring Principal, I want you to get that too. But you both probably want to be principal, so you need both books, right? So I'm in chapter 8 of this book for the next 4 weeks, right? But I've added so much beyond what I've written. I probably need to write a part 2 to this book because so much of what I share on the broadcast is not in the book, right? So planning, organization, and time management is my topic. 4 weeks. So 4 parts, 4 weeks. I can't do it in 1 week. It's too much. So 4 parts. This is part 1, and I'm calling it, we got Kim Wilson Daniel out there. And one of the things I forgot to mention, she had a birthday 2 weeks ago, or around 3 weeks ago. And I had a birthday, right? I don't know if I mentioned that last week. I had one, not this past week, but the week before. So I turned the big 60, right? I'm 60. I'm proud of it. So our note taker, our scribe, Kim Wilson Daniel, had hers. She put her age on, but I'm not going to say it. She put it on her page. We keep it there. And then I had mine. I'm the big 60, man. That's big time. I had a heart attack when I was 54. But here I am feeling better than I've ever felt in my life because I'm taking care of myself, right? So here I'm saying I'm in part 1, organizing your day, your work, and your time. That's what I'm calling it, right? So we got Kim Wilson Daniel out there taking notes. We call it organizing your day, your work, and your time, right? Oh, Cincinnati. This is not the Cincinnati Reds, y'all, right? This the Cincinnati Tigers. Somebody said, who are they? That's a Negro Leagues team. This is a jersey from 1937. Negro Leagues, right? I'm not going to get into the history. I've been talking about it for 27 weeks. You know what the Negro Leagues is, and I wear these shirts proudly. 100th anniversary of the Negro Leagues back in 1920 is when the leagues began. The first league began, right? So this is the Cincinnati Tigers, Cincinnati, Ohio. I wear these proudly every Saturday morning. All right, let's go. Let's go, y'all. Strap up your seatbelts. Repeat after me. How I organize and manage. Now, let me say it again. Repeat after me. How I organize, manage, and utilize my time will make me or break me. Let's do that again. Repeat after me. How I organize, how I manage, and how I utilize my time will either make me or break me. Now, you know that. If you don't know how to manage your time, if you don't know how to organize your time, if you don't know how to utilize your time, that can break your leadership, or it can make your leadership. That's on you. But you have to be skillful. See the ability to manage, to organize, to structure, to utilize your time effectively. That's a skill. That's not just something because you're in leadership, you got that down pat. That's a skill. And it's a skill that you have to develop. It's a skill you've got to cultivate. It's a skill you've got to nurture. It's not something that just comes with your title. And because you were so organized as a teacher, doesn't mean that it's transferable to leadership, because leadership is a different ball of wax. It's a different game. It's a different world, right? So now here you are as a leader, and you supervise staff. That means that you got files on each individual teacher, for example, each individual staff member, for example, beyond the classroom teacher. And that's just staff files. There's more to it than that. So here for Kim Wilson Daniel, I got 12 questions today, 12 self-reflective questions. It was so much more, but I consolidated. I said, I can't keep y'all on here all day. Well, y'all ain't going to ride with me all day anyway. At 12 o'clock, y'all be disappearing, right? So I consolidated down to 12. And here's question number one. For those of you new to me, we structure this as self-reflective questions every week. Right. So because I want you looking within yourselves. I want you to think about your own practice, think about your own work, and how does your work apply to the questions. I want you going deep on yourself each week. The same way if you were an athlete and you were watching game film and looking at things that you didn't necessarily detect in the game, you didn't notice in the game, but then you watch the film and you're like, oh, you cringe, like, oh, I did that. No wonder they scored the touchdown on me. No wonder he dunked on me. No wonder he hit a home run off that pitcher, because I had flaws there that I didn't see in real time. I caught it when I engaged in the study of my film. So in this case, we're not watching film. We're engaging in self-reflection through these self-reflective questions that I throw at you every Saturday morning at 11 Eastern time, and also in the two books that I showed you a few minutes ago. So here's question number one. Is there enough time in my day? Once again, is there enough time in my day? And as a sub question to that, still number one, is 24 hours enough time for me to be productive? Right now, I actually have an answer for these, but I want to share them again. Is there enough time in my day? Right. And the sub question is 24 hours enough time for me to be productive? Now, here's my answer, right? Because this is not an open-ended question, right? Here's my answer to both. I even wrote my answer in capital letters with 3 exclamation points, right? I said, yes, capital letters, bold font. Yes. Most of you I've never met before. But I'm telling you, despite the fact I haven't met you, I'm telling you right now that there is enough time in your day. I'm telling you that 24 hours is more than enough time. You can preach your circumstances to me all you want. But after hearing all your circumstances, all your challenges, I'm still going to tell you that 24 hours is enough time. I'm going to say I'm not going to deviate from that. But I will question how you are using that time. How you are utilizing that time. I will question that. And that's what this 4-part series is all about. Look here. I'm saying to you that there are 1,440 minutes in a day. Are you telling me you need more than that? There are 86,400 seconds in a day. Are you telling me you need more than that? You don't. Of course, everything doesn't have to be done in the same day. If I'm writing a book, for example, I don't have to write the book in the same day. If I've got life beyond the writing of the book, then I will determine how many hours will I spend today, juxtaposed with what the other responsibilities I have throughout the day, until I get to the conclusion of the day. Hey, somebody, I'm getting ready to go in. Hit that share button for me. Hit that retweet button for me. Let folks know Kafele is in the building, and he's talking about organizing and structuring your day. And somebody sitting around moping, talking about, I ain't got no time to do nothing, man. I can't get it done. I'm telling you how to get it done. Hit them up and let them know, right? So here we go. Question number 2. What are my daily and weekly goals? Oh, man. What are my daily and weekly goals? Comma, do I have the time to meet them, comma, and are they written? Now, let me get that to you straight. What are my daily and weekly goals? Do I have time to meet them, and are they written? Let me go to that last one first, written. Let me tell you something. A goal, I need to get closer in the camera on this one. A goal is not written, ain't nothing but a dream. That's all it is. A goal is not written, is nothing but a hallucination. That's all it is. It ain't nothing. It has no substance to it. It's just, it's abstract, right? It's nothing. It has no substance. The goal, I don't care what the goal is. The goal has to be written. You got to write your goal. So again, what are my daily and weekly goals? So I want you to let's look at this before I even get into the content for this question. Daily. What did you determine this is what I'm going to achieve? Right? What is it? And then weekly. What did you say by the end of the week? Like here we are on the brink of a new week coming. Some of y'all say, wait, don't talk about a new week yet. We just got to the weekend, right? So I hear you. But here we are. The new week will be here, right? It'll be here. Let me put some of y'all up here on the screen. The new week will be here. So I'm asking you, what will the week look like? What are the goals for the forthcoming week? Have you written them down, right? What are those goals? But now breaking the week up, what are the goals for Monday? Like what are those what are those objectives for Monday? Not just you walking in the building or in a virtual space, you getting on the computer or you interacting on the phone or through email, well, however it is that you lead during this pandemic. What are the goals? But I always want you thinking about being back in the building because this is not permanent. Right? So I want you thinking about when you're back in the building, what are the goals for this week? What are the goals for today? I want you to keep in mind that discipline and lunch duty, some of you out there, that may be your primary responsibility. I get it. I frown on it. That's the whole reason for writing this book, because I think that has to change. I said the assistant principalship is the most misunderstood and underutilized position in education. So when an assistant principal is utilized as a full-time disciplinarian and then spending 2, 3, 4 periods in the cafeteria supervising kids, that's a gross misuse of a brilliant mind. But that's for another discussion. That's for another day. But if discipline and lunch duty are your primary responsibilities, you keep in mind, you do have other responsibilities. It is easy. I've seen it a zillion times. It is easy for an assistant principal to spend an entire day, every minute of the day, bar none, engaged in discipline and lunch duty. That's real. I've seen it. Some of you have seen it. Some of you are living it. You're not living it during a pandemic, but when you get back, you live in it, right? So we understand that. But I'm saying to you, it can't be that way because you still have a plate with other content on it, right? You still got that plate. So therefore, and to my friend out there with BLM, I hear you. I see what you're writing. It's just that this is not the platform for that right now. We're talking about leadership in the school, right? So I'll talk about that at another time, right? So I'm very focused right now on developing leaders of schools, right? So now discipline and lunch duty, that's here. But what about the other responsibilities that you have? For example, you may set goals, the number of pre-observation conferences that you will engage in during that week. I got you, BLM, and we're on the same page. It's just that that's not what this platform is, sir or ma'am, whoever you are, but I'm with you, right? So once again, you set goals. So perhaps a goal might be the number of quality pre-observation conferences, post-observation conferences, right? And the actual observations. How many will you engage in on Monday, right? How many pre-observation conferences? Because see, it's easy to have in your mind, I think I'm going to do 5 on Monday, but you didn't write them down. So then here come the distractions. And now you can't do what you said you were going to do, but there's no real incentive to push you to do it because you never wrote it down in the first place, right? So there's no pressure that you apply to yourself because here you are, you didn't write it down. So it's only in your mind and it can escape your mind and you don't want it to ever escape. So you got to write it. It's like, you guys know, all these notes. I write notes for these broadcasts. I'm not going off the top of my head. When I wrote them, I was off the top of my head, but I don't want to rely on that. I wanted to be rock solid into what I'm going to present every Saturday morning. So I write it. And then my goal is to deliver it. And I guess secondarily for you to receive it. Right? So here, once again, the number of pre-observation conferences. And you may add in that, what are we going to discuss, right? And then the observation itself, and then the post-observation conference. The goal may be, how quickly will I get back to that teacher? Because see, if you observe the teacher on Monday, and then you have a post-observation conference, say on Thursday, you may as well do that observation over. Right? Because that's too much time. You've forgotten something, and certainly the teacher has forgotten some things because that teacher's been teaching all week. The feedback has to be immediate. So now, but you may need to write it as a goal that I'm going to do it immediately. So what we're doing here in terms of how I've structured these 4 weeks, I'm combining planning, organization, time management on through. I'm not breaking them up into the planning session, the organization session, the time management session, because they're all interconnected. So now we're talking about the goal of just the visit, or you may have a goal of non-instructional meetings with teachers. There's a need to talk to teachers about a plethora of different things that may have nothing to do with something that you would evaluate, right? It may have nothing to do with classroom observations, but just meetings with teachers or other staff for just a variety of different reasons. Well, you may need to set that as a goal, that this is something that I'm going to accomplish this week, as opposed to being stuck in the disciplinary mindset or mode, or the cafeteria duty mode, right? So I'm going to allot time to be able to talk to X number of teachers about some of the issues and concerns that they've been raising with me, or some of the issues and concerns that I need to raise with them. But you got to write that as a goal, that this is something I want to accomplish. Or maybe you have a goal of attending department meetings, right? Department meetings are not necessarily attended by administration, but maybe there's an issue and you need to be a part of this meeting, but you may need to write it down. Like in terms of the calendar, I'm going to get to that, right? But for now, I'm talking about the goal. The grade level meeting. Through the analysis of data, there may be a need for you to be a part of a grade level meeting to talk about how we're going about dissecting certain data, right? Understanding certain data, right? So now, instead of just the teachers being amongst themselves, as leader and particularly as a supervisor, you may need to participate in that meeting. But how are you going to do that if you got a stack of disciplinary referrals and a line of kids waiting to see you out in the hallway, and then the lunch period is looming, right? How are you ever going to get to that? Remember, we said the overarching question for this 55-week academy is, does my assistant principalship benefit my school academically? So how does your assistant principalship, or how does your principalship benefit your school academically if you're not engaged in the school academically? So now you set the goal. I need to have this meeting with my grade level teachers or my department level teachers because we need to analyze this data. We need to break down this data. We need to discuss this data. We need to understand this data. And you need to be a part of that discussion. You need to be a part of that analysis. But if you're not there, then it's the teachers on their own, but they don't have that leadership structure, that administrative leadership structure to guide the discussion. That's important. That's critical. But you got to set it as a goal on your plate, that this on your agenda, that this is in part what I need to do today, right? Let's keep it moving. Administrative walkthroughs. Oh man, now all schools don't do them. I know that, but some do. But you have to have time. You have to have time to do the walkthrough. A walkthrough takes time, right? Because think about it. It's not just the walkthrough. It's the discussion. Let's say it's you and your administrative team. It's the discussion in the hallway before you walk into the classroom. Just that final discussion in terms of what you guys are looking for when you walk into that classroom, right? But then beyond that, when you come out of that classroom, you're not going to go to the next classroom and then the next classroom and then the next classroom. There's got to be a debriefing when you come out of the first classroom. So now you guys will go back into the hallway and speak softly and debrief on what you saw and perhaps record certain notes on what you observed while you spent time in that classroom. So I'm saying to you, there's no way in the world that can be done if you are not setting goals as to this will be a part of my agenda today, right? So it's critical. You got to set those goals. PLCs are not necessarily widely attended by administration, but there are sometimes when a PLC, based on the structure you create, that the administrator will attend those meetings for the same reasons that I just mentioned prior to being at this bullet point, such as the grade level and departmental meetings. But moving on, student activities. You may have a student council. And see, I had a student council. I wasn't the advisor to student council, but best believe as an administrator of the building, I wanted to be in those student council meetings. I didn't have to lead them. I didn't have to be the one that organized it, but I want to hear what they're talking about. Because see, as a leader, I observed them making certain promises when they were campaigning. I read all their posters and signs on the wall. So now I want to go into the meeting and see if there's consistency between what they promised, because the students that voted for them, remember. So I want to go into the meeting and see what is the consistency level between the promises that were made and now the actual work. So the continuity between campaigning and governing, because it's, as you know, they're two different things. So I want to monitor that. and I want to provide input where necessary. But if I'm bogged down into discipline and lunch duty, how do I get that done? I can answer that. It doesn't get done. It gets done, but I'm not part of it. All right. See, I want to be a part of it, but we're not talking about me. We're talking about you. I want you to be a part of it, right? I want you to be a part of it. So therefore, there's so much that you've got to examine. So student activities, whether it be student council or whatever those activities are that take place during the school day, that you may want to be a part of those discussions, just in terms of having input or oversight, whatever the case may be. And then lastly, under this question, what are my daily, weekly goals? Do I have time to meet them? And are they written? Meetings with students. I'm not talking about activities now. I'm talking about you as a leader in your school, you as a role model in your school, having discussions, meetings with young people. Man, that was one of my high points of my career as a principal. Those 10 students they'll leave, we'll pull them out of class for a little while, and we're down in my office and we're having some productive discussion on whatever it is. They'll make up the work. Right. But those meetings with young people, I can't always do those during lunch period if I need to see the same group together and they're not of the same lunch period. Or I can't always do that after school if they're engaged in other activities after school, or in the morning with them coming in at different times. So I may pull them out. Teacher understand, because it's part of the culture of the building. So I may pull them out, and now we'll have that meeting. Or I may have students that have their own concerns. Forget about my concerns. They may have their own concerns, and they want to meet with their assistant principal. They want to meet with their principal. Well, I want to afford them that opportunity to meet with me. But if my goals are not written or not set, then I may not be able to do any of the things that I just delineated over the past 10 minutes. I may not be able to do it, because I don't have real concrete goals. They're not written goals. They're not smart goals. I got to set these goals. But then let's go further. Number 3, what are the contingencies? What are all of the contingencies that may be preventing me from reaching my daily and weekly goals? I'm saying to you, there are a variety of contingencies that can preclude you from being able to meet the goals that you set. Well, I'm saying to you, you need to brainstorm what those contingencies may be. Don't just wait for them to happen. Get yourself some chart paper and start to list what are the things that can go wrong. Just brainstorm. What are all the things that can go wrong and interfere with my game plan, that interfere with my goals that I have set for myself for the day and for the week? And then maybe some of you are bigger picture thinkers, macro, for the month. Just what are those things? I would list them all. What are those things that can interfere? And one of the things that stands out, I just gave you a few, but one of the ones that stands out for me in terms of this morning is where I wrote, what attention have I given to the climate and culture of the school? Because that can be the biggest contingency. The climate of the school is toxic. The culture of the school is toxic. So now, because of the climate and because of the mood, because of the culture, the lifestyle, and because of the two of them, I can't do anything, because the climate and culture are dictating that I have to be a disciplinarian and I've got to oversee lunch periods. So I can't live that way. I can't live that way, y'all. I can't be this leader and I'm essentially a dean of students, just disciplining kids all day. I can't live that way. I won't live that way. I refuse to live that way. Right? So therefore there's got to be a plan. So now that was, I got 5 bullet points under number 3. Again, the question, what are all the contingencies that may be preventing me from reaching my daily and weekly goals? So letter A, am I organized? Man, I could spend all day on just that question. That's a sub question to number 3. Am I organized? And I'm asking you, I'm looking right at you. Are you organized? right? Are you organized? See, you can't listen, somebody. You cannot do this work effectively and efficiently if you are not organized. Everything about your leadership, everything under your leadership, there has to be organization. I'm organized. These notes, the wrong page. These notes, I'm organized. You see that things are highlighted. I mean, I'm structured in this. I'm not going off on the beaten path. I got to be organized with this. People come on here on Saturday morning, they expect me to deliver. So I got to be structured. I got to be organized in what I'm doing. So I'm saying to you, you got to be organized, right? You can't walk into a school and you just going like what's it called? Ever Ready Bunny, whatever they call it. It's been a long time since I've seen that commercial. So I'm saying to you, you can't just go in there and you just doing you. Oh, here's a figuratively speaking. Oh, here's a fire. I need to put this out. Figuratively speaking, here's another fire. Here's another fire. Here's another fire. So then be a fireman. Be a firewoman. Take your exam and put out real fires, right? I'm saying to you, it can't work that way. You got to be structured. You've got to be organized. You got to be on top of your organizational game. So when I ask the question, what are all the contingencies that may be preventing me from reaching my daily and weekly goals? I'm asking number one, letter A, am I organized? Letter B, am I efficient? Let me tell you something, y'all. Efficient. Let me bring it down a little too. I'm saying to you, when you embark on doing something, whatever it is, whether it be in school as school leader or whatever, you got to be focused on getting it done and without interference. Like I said to you from the outset, the 24 hours, I'm good with that. That's enough for me. But then I can't waste time. Like so if I'm focused on getting something done, I can't now. Let me go over here, watch it. Oh, there's something important on the television. Or let me listen to this song. I mean, let me take this phone call. Listen, you got to be efficient. Like when you do it, when you engage in it, you're gonna do it right. You're gonna do it correctly. You're gonna finish strong. You're gonna make it happen. You got to be efficient in what you do. Letter C, am I collaborative with key stakeholders? Maybe whatever that goal is not something you could do singularly. Maybe that's something that you need to collaborate with others. Are you collaborative? Maybe you and an assistant principal in another building need to have a meeting of the mind. See, maybe you don't know it all, right? Because see, I'm being nice when I say maybe you don't know it all. You don't know it all, and neither do I. Right? So therefore, there may be someone you need to collaborate with in order to get it done, right? So we're talking about those contingencies. What are all the contingencies that may be for preventing me from reaching my daily and weekly goals? So with those contingencies, well, do I have a thought partner? Do I have an accountability partner? Am I collaborative with key stakeholders to help me to overcome whatever those contingencies may be? Letter D, here's a big one. Do I have a plan? Oh man. See, it's one thing to set the goal, but it's another thing to have a plan. And the plan must always be written. There's no such thing as an unwritten plan. That's just a hallucination. An unwritten plan means you're going to be going in the wrong direction frequently. It's like you need to have an internal GPS, an internal navigation system, so that you've devised your plan in your head, you've written your plan, and now you are walking in your plan. You are running in your plan. You are moving in your plan. You got to have a plan. You can't do nothing without a plan. You got to have a plan of action. You got to have that game plan. In sports, they're not running out on the field without a game plan. Basketball, football, baseball, whatever the sport. There's a plan. Of course, when things arise in real time, they have to deviate. They have to accommodate, right? But you still have a plan in place. And a part of the plan are the contingencies that I've been speaking to you about. But what if this happens? How will I proceed, as opposed to this happening and now you like a deer in headlights? See, if you have brainstormed the contingencies and then the contingencies arise, you are still prepared. I remember years ago, I was in a school, working in a school as a principal, and there were 3 schools in one building. And each school was led by its own administration. And we had people from the outside of the school, not in school, outside of the school, who would call in bomb threats. Now, this was in the late 90s. So they would call in bomb threats, and we had state standardized assessments coming up in March, and they were doing this in February. If there's a bomb threat, it's 3 schools in one building. They have to investigate and explore all 3 buildings. We sitting out in the cold. It's 20 degrees. It's 0 degrees. We sitting out in the cold. Nobody has a coat because we got to immediately evacuate the building. My plan was to continue to stay focused on preparing for state standardized assessments coming up in 1 or 2 weeks, about 2 weeks. Now we sitting out in the stadium freezing, waiting an hour for some dog to sniff out if there's a bomb in the building. We knew it wasn't, but we can't assume it wasn't, right? So now I got to come up with a contingency because we still have to pass those tests. So we put forth the contingency, the way we structured the day, because it didn't happen only once. Because whomever was making the calls, they were having a ball watching 2,000 students in a football field and bleachers in the cold while bomb sniffing dogs were looking for a bomb. So whomever was doing it, they were having a ball. So because they weren't getting caught, they kept doing it. So this became a pattern. 3 schools within a building having to deal with someone on the outside making these calls, right? But I got to a point where I said, okay, this is where we are. I got to list that as a contingency, and therefore, what's the plan for when it happens? And then eventually, the person was caught, right? So, but that was beyond my control or influence because it was someone that was not associated with the school. It was just someone that had a lot of time on their hands to disrupt what we were doing in this school, which I might add was a school that was 98% African American, right? 3 schools, 98% African American. Right. So let me keep it moving. Do I have a plan? I said. And then letter E again, what attention have I given to the climate and culture of the school? So let me keep moving. Number 4. How do I effectively manage my time? Oh, man. I need to say that one again. How do I effectively manage my time? Hey, somebody, hit that share button, man. Let the folks know we on here, man. We talking planning, organization, and time management. Hit that share button, hit that retweet button. Let them know. Don't hoard all the information for yourself. Share that with somebody else. Let them know we in the building this morning. So here I got these 2 sub questions today. First, let me say, let's look at the big picture, right? When I say how do I effectively manage my time, let's look at the big picture. And with the big picture, I got these 2 sub questions. Number 1, what do I need to accomplish today? In other words, I'm using the word need. The operative word in that question is the word need. What do I need? What must I accomplish today? What are my non-negotiables is what I'm asking, right? So you got to write that out. What are the things that you need to accomplish? What are the things that you must accomplish? What are the things that are your non-negotiables that you cannot go this full day without accomplishing this? You got to write those out. And then what is your plan toward bringing that to fruition? But I'm distinguishing your need with your wants. So here's the other one. What do I want to accomplish today? See, that's 2 different questions. So what's that thing you said, okay, here's what I want to accomplish. But that's something, I put it in the category of want, meaning that if you don't accomplish it today, it's okay because you can get to it tomorrow. But that first one, what do I need or what must I accomplish? You can't put that can't be put off till tomorrow. Let's say, for example, it's an important meeting with a community representative, right? A business leader, a government official, a pastor, whatever the case may be. You can't, and the meeting was scheduled for today. You can't call that person. I know we planned this like 2 weeks ago, but something came up. I mean, you could, but you don't want to in terms of maintaining that relationship with that person if they have sacrificed time in order to have this meeting. So again, as you think about managing your time, what are the things you need to do? And what are the things you must do? So here I'm saying, consider life away from work. It matters too, in terms of how it will fit in relative to your time. So let me give you these examples of what I mean. Your me time, M-E, your me time. How you gonna fit that in? I remember we said the big picture, 24 hours in a day, 1,440 minutes in a day, 86,400 seconds in a day. So with that, how will you carve out time for just you, your me time? Because see, each minute is worth its weight in gold. Each minute is valuable, right? So I'm saying to you, with each minute, you can't squander any of them. They all matter. So therefore, I'm saying to you, let's break the day down. Your time away from work, your time away from the job, your time away from this particular portion of your life, your mission as it relates to being an educator, your me time, which I may also call your decompression time, your time to just kind of think it through, to sit back, to exhale, right? Have you carved in some exhale time? That's critical. And see, I'm not even talking about the gym time yet. I'm talking about just time let me demonstrate. Time for you to just sit here like this here. Matter of fact, let me get that exhale in. That's all I'm talking about. Have you carved out time to do that? Because I'm going to tell you, there are people out here who have not structured time to do this. They're still going. And that's going to wear you down, if not to your grave. That's a part of self-care. You got to decompress. I do it every day. So again, your me time. Secondly, letter B, your family time. Your family time. You gotta, if you have a family, because everybody doesn't, but let me say this to you. If you have a family, your family needs you. For somebody out here, that might be the most important thing I've said. It might be the most important thing that I'll say in 55 weeks. If you have a family, your family needs you. Yeah, they need you. Have you carved out time to put the mission to the side, the work to the side, and giving your all to your family? See, have you carved out that time, your family time? Because see, that's your rejuvenation. That's your fuel. See, you need that. That's your energy source. Your family might be the only people applauding you. And we all need applause, right? We all need it. I won't lie, I need it sometimes. I like when people send me an email and say, I appreciate what you said today, or on the thread. I'm not trying to encourage you guys to start giving me praise and so forth, but I'm just telling you that when someone does, that lifts me, man. It tells me that the work is not in vain. Right? Someone wrote something yesterday that I saw online. They said, man, you my guy. I said, that's all I needed. You know, so I'm saying to you, your family might be the one that applauds you, particularly when they understand what you do. So your family time. Consider life away from work. It matters too. How will you fit in it? Number 3, your professional growth time, grad school, for example. You may still be in school working on that doctorate, right? And you got to carve out time, that decompression time, because now you going back to an intense situation in terms of grad school with being in class, and then all the work that accompanies being in that class, right? So you got to carve out time, because if you don't, that can overwhelm you. Think about the volume of people who do not finish grad school on time because of all the pressures in their lives. So you got to structure that. You got to organize that. You got to manage your time outside of the classroom. Your gym time. One of the reasons that I'm not a superintendent, there's several reasons, but let me give you one of them in the context of today. One of the reasons is because I know my work ethic. And in my mind, I didn't know how I was going to be able to get into a gym being a superintendent, knowing the kind of hours that I work, that I would work, my work ethic and all that. I said, how will I get into a gym? See, it's one thing to want to go to a gym, but when you had a heart attack, it's non-negotiable. You have to be in a gym, right? You have to put in that work. You have to put in those miles, that cardio work. So it's not like a thing like I want to go to the gym because I want to look good and fit my suits. No, I got to go to the gym in order to live. It's literal, right? And I said, I don't think I can be consistent with the gym, knowing the amount of hours I need to sleep at my age, and knowing the amount of time I need to spend in the gym, including the amount of time I have to just kind of sit and relax and let my heart rate come down. See, I'm not like everybody else. I got issues now since I had that heart attack. So therefore, I said that I can't make that gym time work for me. I could make it work as a principal, but I don't think I can make it work as a superintendent. So, but I'm saying to you, because it's about you, as you decompress and as you consider your life away from school, are you folding in your exercise time? I'm going to say, and I'll go on a limb and say this to you. That's non-negotiable. Like I said to you, okay, my situation is different from yours, right? But that means those of you who haven't had, severe health issues. But here's the thing, even if you haven't, there was a time when I didn't either. I didn't have mine until I was 54. Heart attack and diabetes. So type 2. So here I'm saying before that, I thought I was a machine. Not knowing I needed to be in the gym doing that cardio work. Not knowing that accompanying the gym time is meal time, MEAL, meal, food. So I needed to also eat differently than I had been eating. So I'm saying to you, leader, who's watching this morning or who will see the video later, have you carved in gym time and time to eat a balanced meal? Not the drive through at the fast food restaurant so you can say you got something in you. I don't mean that. That's what almost killed me. I lived off of that stuff. I really did. That grease and that salt almost did me in. So I'm saying to you, you have to make sure that you carve in exercise time. You don't have to go to a physical gym. I don't go to a gym under this pandemic. I'm out in the freezing temperatures right now. You should have seen me yesterday, man. My hands are so cold. It's cold up here in Jersey, right? So I'm saying to you, I'm still getting it done. I'm just not in a gym, but I'm getting the exercise in. But I was talking about my work ethic. I work hard, y'all, but I gotta carve in that exercise. I gotta make sure I'm eating right. I'm talking to you, but then beyond me time, family time, grad school time, PD time, gym time, meal time, your other activities. Like, let me say this. I wrote this on my notes and I said, do you really want to say this? And I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to say it. Some of you go to Bible study, right? I'm talking to the Christians right now. And then other religions, you go to certain studies during the week, right? Not the service, the culminating service on a Sunday or a Saturday, but I'm talking about, or a Friday, but I'm talking about the study of your scripture, right? And then you got into administration. And your mind was like, this if this applies to somebody, I'm just giving you something. If this applies to you, so you will go on the Bible study every Wednesday night, every Thursday night, whatever it was. And then you become an administrator and you said, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this right now because I'm overwhelmed right now. I'm tired. I got work I'm bringing home. Listen, let me tell you something. If you were in that Bible study, you were in it for a reason. This job can't keep you from going to Bible study. That's my point. This job cannot, you can't put this job, this school leadership job above that which you felt was giving you salvation. So you can't now say, oh, I don't have time for the Bible study. I ain't got time to be listening to the pastor or whomever the Bible study leader is. I don't have time for that. No. If that's what you were doing, then I'm saying to you, you got to keep doing that. You got to keep doing that. Right? The Bible study might be the strength you need, or whatever your scripture is, might be the strength you need to be strong during the day. And now you've taken that source away. And that's why I said your time management is so critical. See, if you stop Bible study for whatever the reason, and it's valid, fine. But if you stop Bible study because you feel, or religious study, whatever it is, because you feel I don't have the time anymore, then I'm gonna sit here right now. I'm gonna say to you, you've made a bad decision. You made a bad decision. The Bible study is probably what you need in order to get through the leadership during the day. So you don't carve that out. You carve that in. I'm gonna leave that alone. Enough said. Let me keep moving. So whatever those other things are out there, I'm just saying to you, you got to engage in them. Now, I see what time it is, y'all. I'm going over today. I ain't going to go too far over. Y'all just ride with me, man. It's cold now. Well, if y'all in the South, I guess it's still hot, but you just ride with me for a little while. I won't be too long. I can see I'm going to take some of this into next week, though. So, and then here's the final one under that letter B. Consider your life away from work, your rest time. Take it from your big brother. I thought I was a machine. I was leading them schools with 4 hours sleep and not even realizing how tired I was. As a speaker, I was out on the road doing 6-hour presentations a day on 4 and 5 hours sleep and feeling like I was a machine, not tired because the adrenaline was pumping. So I wasn't cognizant that I was of how tired my body was until I came off the road for a few days and would fall asleep on the couch for days. Didn't want to do nothing. I didn't know my body was so shot down, beat badly, just beat up. I'm saying to you, you got to carve out time for rest. Now, how many hours? I'm glad you asked. 8 hours. Come on, Principal Kafele, that's not realistic with everything you've been saying all day and all 27 weeks. You saying sleep 8 hours? I'm saying sleep 8 hours only because I suffered a heart attack. If I didn't have the heart attack, then I would be saying to you, like my man, with some of the speakers out here, sleep is for suckers. My man E.T., he says sleep is for suckers. I mean, I hear that. I was parroting the same thing until I had the heart attack. I was saying it to my wife, sleep is for suckers. I don't sleep. And then I had the heart attack. I said, oh, sleep for people that want to live for a while, right? So but I had to figure it out the hard way, right? So I'm saying to you, the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears and pain of school leadership, your body got to regroup. Put in them 8 hours, if not 8, at least 7. Right? And if you're not sleeping, you can't sleep, your body not used to it, just lay there. Just rest. Let your body rest. Let it regroup. Let it recover. Let it bounce back. And then you get back out there. Right? So see, but my point here is that you got to carve all this into your routine. You got to structure your day. You got to look at how you're using your time, because I'm telling you, and I'll get deeper into this. I'm doing this in 4 parts, that you got some fat on the bone. I know that. You got some excess time that you are misusing. I know that. And I don't even know most of you, but I do know that there are many of you, if not all, and I'll put myself in there, you are misusing time. You are wasting valuable minutes. And one of the things I see I overlook, your reading time. I talked about grad school, but I skipped one. Your reading time, just engaging in reading and study. You got to keep your knife sharp. You got your axe sharp. You got to read. You got to study. You can't just be working, and the research keeps coming and you're not privy to it. So that's more things you got to carve into your work. We're going to get deeper. I'm on the surface right now. We're going to get deeper into the how as we unfold these 4 weeks. Let me keep it moving, y'all. Hang with me. I'm almost done. So now I'm saying here, I'm looking at letter C, and I'm saying in the game of football it's a 60-minute game. That's it. When even though it may be on the TV for 4 hours or 3 hours, the clock's not running for 3 hours. The clock is only running for 60 minutes. So you only got 60 minutes to win a game. In basketball, you only got 48 minutes to win a game. Unless it goes in overtime, both sports. If it doesn't go into overtime, you got 60 minutes to win. That's all you got. And if you don't use those 60 minutes wisely, you'll lose the game. You got 48 minutes in the basketball game. That's all you got. You can't say, like, can you give me 1 more minute? Can we tack on 5 more minutes so I can win? It don't work that way. Well, your life in school, matter of fact, watch this. I'm writing my notes. I thought I started brainstorming. I want to share this with you. Stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. Listen, I said, not only football and basketball and other sports, but if you go to a wedding, that pastor going to tell the bride and groom, yo, you got X amount of time in this church. After that time, y'all got to get up out of here. But then the reception, they say, and you got X amount of time based on what you pay. So if you want to spend all your day in that church, that's on you, but you on the clock. So now you got to organize your time so that wedding flows. You wasting time, man. Want to get in there late, and the pastor saying, yo, you getting up out of here the same time though. And then the reception hall manager saying, and your clock started. So you spending all day taking pictures, the clock started. Nobody in there except the guests, but they can't do nothing, right? They can't eat. The DJ might not be set up, but the clock is moving. You got to maximize that time. See, so the wedding or the reception. Now here's one. I don't really want to say this, but I'm going to say it to make my point. That funeral, that homegoing service, that pastor going to let you. Matter of fact, that pastor is going to say that to the whole congregation. We got to be out of here. You can't when you give your remarks, you got 2 minutes. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You got 2 minutes. And after them 2 minutes, we pulling the hook. We pulling the plug on you. You can't deliver no sermon in here because we have to be gone because at the cemetery, we only got X amount of time to be there. So I'm saying that to say this. Time. You can't say, oh, can y'all give me like 10 more? No. Well, it works the same way with your leadership. You only got 24 hours. It's a matter of how you use it, how you maximize your time. I'm almost done, y'all. Think of letter E. I'm still under number 4. Think of an agenda-less meeting. Excuse me. An agenda-less meeting. Oh, man. I don't want to be at an agenda-less meeting. Because I have been at agenda-less meetings where there is no structure. Hear me, y'all. I'm going to yell this one. That is a gross misuse of my time. So in other words, it's not my meeting. I'm at someone else's meeting, a superintendent, and it's no agenda. So we're sitting at a conference. I've been here, y'all. I got a school to lead. So we're at a meeting with no agenda. That's a misusage of my time. Or an agenda that is not followed. That's a misusage of my time. But it's also, if I'm the one that created the agenda or my team and my staff has to be subjected to it, then it's a misusage of their time. There can be no agenda-less meeting, or there can be no departure from the agenda because time matters. In the business world, they'll say time is money. You and I have to structure our time. And then lastly, under number 4, when you wake up, I'm saying this, you should be able to see your day unwind before it even starts. You got to see it. So you got your contingencies, you got your goals, you got your plans, you got the goals you need and the goals you want. You got it structured. It's on the paper. You did it last night before you left the building. Your day is structured for tomorrow. But I got to keep saying to you, if the culture of the building is the issue, then you got some macro work to do. If that's what the issue is, because I would dare say in many cases, the problem is the culture of the building. The culture doesn't free you up and allow you to do the things you need to do. Now, here it's 12:05. I'm gonna go to number 5 and I'm gonna cut it off. I'll do number 6 through 12 next week, right? So let me just do number 5. Number 5 says, how do I manage my emails? I can do this quickly, so hang with me for a minute. How do I manage my emails? Man, I have seen so many people where email is the problem, right? Let me say this to you. Hear me, somebody. I mean, I might be preaching to the choir on this, but just work with me. When you get all these emails every day, I'm just going to give you my system. I'm not going to click that email unless I'm going to do something with that email. If I click it, I gotta exhaust it. If I know I don't have the time to do that, then I'm not going to touch it. It's just going to stay there. It's unread, right? So I'm not going to necessarily click every email. But if I click it, then I got some options here. If I click it, I can read it, I can exhaust it. Whatever it is I got to do with it in terms of whatever the outcome is, I can do that. Or I can put it into a folder. So on a Mac, I drag it to a folder that says pending with today's date. So that means that here's something I got to get to before the day is over, because it's in that pending. It's in that pending because I opened it. If I didn't open it, it can stay in the thread. But once I open it, I'm not going to open it and say in my mind, I'll get back to it, because I have learned over the years that I will never get back to it. Because by the time I get back to it, 50 to 100 more emails have come. It is buried. I ain't thinking about it. I forgot about it. And in my mind, I think I've covered everything. That's bad organization. So instead, if I opened it, but I didn't act upon it, then I'm going to drag it into a folder on my desktop that says pending. And now that pending folder, pending, that pending folder are all the things that I will get to later on, as opposed to opening it and in my mind, okay, I'm gonna get back to that one later on today. You and I both know we ain't getting back to that one, because 100 more have come in. And that one is forgotten. And that might be the most important one in the thread, right? So I'm gonna put it in the pending folder. Now, let's say I did act upon it and I exhausted it. Then I got a folder called to be filed. I'm going to put it in that folder, to be filed. So meaning that ultimately it's going in a folder where I can put my hands on it later on, if need be. I may not ever need to see it again. Or if it's something that I deem is never going to be relevant in my life ever again, then I'm going to trash it. Because I don't want to just build up an accumulation of files that I don't need. So I'm gonna make a distinction. If this is something I may need to revisit at some point in my life later on, then I'm gonna put it in a to be filed, and then ultimately I'm gonna file it. But if it's something that I say, okay, I'm never gonna see this again, I'm deleting that, right? And then so therefore I'm saying that your filing with your email has to be detailed. That's what I'm saying, right? Your filing with your email has to be detailed. Again, hear me, somebody. If you're not going to deal with the email now, don't open it. Leave it unread. That way, when you scroll later on, you see, oh, I need to deal with this one. Because if you click it and now it's looked upon as read, then when you scroll back, you may scroll right past it and think that, oh, I dealt with this already. And no, you didn't deal with it. You clicked it, but you didn't do anything with it. So I'm saying, have a system. Maybe my system doesn't work for you. Maybe you use Gmail differently and so forth. Whatever this system works for me. It works like a charm, and it keeps me organized. It keeps me structured. It allows me to use my time wisely. So I'm saying to you, It's the same thing. Be organized with how you use email. Have a system in place, because email, I mean, I don't think there's a soul on here that will disagree with me. Email can be overwhelming. Email can be taxing, particularly when you work in a district where the people who send the emails, maybe from central office, are not necessarily appreciative of the work that a building leader does. So all they got to do is sit in their office and send an email. So now here come email. Your phone, your Outlook is just ringing all day, ding, 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 or whatever sounds it makes. And now you got 100 emails you got to read. Well, toward organizing that, you got to have structure, right? You got to have structure in how you organize it, or you'll have some supervisor, one of your supervisors, calling you later on like you haven't responded to the email. Let me tell you something. I have an ego, right? I don't have a problem telling you that. And I don't want some supervisor calling me to tell me what I haven't done. I don't have the patience for that. So therefore, which is one of the reasons I'm self-employed. I don't take orders well. Right. I just don't. Right. That's why I'm self-employed. So if there's somebody out there and you like me, well, then you're going to have to follow my lead. I'm still an educator, as you see. I just couldn't do it there. That's not the sole reason I left, but I just don't want a boss. I don't want a supervisor. I don't want someone watching no clock over me. I don't want somebody determining when I can do this and that. I want to live my life on my terms. So I made that decision. So while I was in that capacity, I can't have some supervisor calling me talking about you haven't read the email, or you didn't respond to the email, or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to put myself in that predicament, because I know me, and I know that I don't like that. So therefore, I'll have structure. I'll be organized. So with my structure, with my organization, with my planning, that person never, ever will have to call me and remind me of anything. I'm talking to somebody. I'm preaching to somebody. So you got to have a system for your email. Man, I got so much that I didn't cover today. I overplanned. I don't have a problem with overplanning. I have a problem with underplanning, right? So overplanning is good. I got 55 weeks. I could spill this over into next week. So let me say this to you. I'm wrapping it up, but before you leave, I got a homework assignment for you, as always, a parting question. The parting question for you to give consideration to is, in what ways will I organize, manage, and utilize my time more productively and more efficiently? Again, in what ways will I organize, manage, and utilize my time more productively and more efficiently? Next week, part 2. We're doing 4 parts to this. Tell a friend, tell somebody that's not an educator, man. Principal Kafele helping us with structuring our professional and personal lives, right? Let them know. We're using this, the Assistant Principal 50. I haven't referenced it in terms of reading a passage, but you got to get your hands on this, right? So get your hands on this, or Amazon.com, ASCD.org, principalkafele.com. In fact, visit principalkafele.com, not only for this, but just for all the resources on the website, man. I got all them podcasts, videos, blogs. About how many blogs I've written over my lifetime? About, I don't know, about 80, right? They're all on the website. Check them out. And then get this to go with it. The Aspiring Principal 50, same places, the principalkafele.com, Amazon.com, ASCD.org. In fact, principalkafele.com will link you to both of those websites, right? I'm not doing a raffle this week. But those of you that I did, I sent all those books to you. They should be arriving. But we're gonna be doing a lot of those, because I got a book I wrote back in 2004 that's sitting somewhere collecting dust. I took it off the market. So it's called A Handbook for Teachers of African American Children. So I'm gonna be raffling that off like frequently, because I need to get it out, because it's taking up a lot of space in storage, right? So, but we'll talk about that later. I'm not prepared for it today. Like and follow my Facebook page, Virtual AP Leadership Academy. Subscribe to my channel, School Leadership Thoughts. Subscribe to that channel. We got, I'm gonna be putting a lot on there. I kind of restructured it because of the academy, but I deleted a lot of videos, but we're gonna be adding a whole lot of new stuff, because the old videos was before my heart attack. I had this big face, and I cringed every time I looked at it, to be quite frank with you. So I deleted like 30, 40 videos for that reason. Somebody might say, man, he's vain. No, I just want to keep, the way I look now. I'm a little, I'm kind of like trim now. You know what I'm saying? So here, I'm done, y'all. Make sure that you eat healthy. Make sure you're exercising. I'm not making a political statement when I say wear a mask. I'm just saying wear a mask. I'm making a life statement. I'm saying that I want people to live. I want children to return back to school. I want to put this virus behind us. I want to eliminate all the hosts that a virus can find. So forget about the fact you might look ridiculous in your mask. So what? I look ridiculous in mine. But I put it on because I don't want to be a host for a second time. I had COVID. I don't want it for a second time. Right? It was rough. It was brutal. And being a heart attack victim and having type 2 diabetes, quite frankly, I don't know if this body can endure COVID-19 for a second time. You'll be tuning in on here on a Saturday morning, and it says on here, we regret to tell you that Principal Kafele made his transition because he contracted COVID-19 for the second time. I don't want that to happen, and y'all sending my wife all these love messages, right? I don't want that to happen. So I wear this. Right? I wear this, right? You wear yours too. Enough said. Hey, y'all, have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Old school, new school. I approve this message. And cock your fist back and count with me. 1, 2, 3. Bam! I see you guys for part 2 next Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern. Other than that, be safe, be well, be productive, and I'll see you then.